Budget 2023 is unlikely to introduce major tax policy reforms in view of the need to manage inflation. Harvindar Singh from the Chartered Tax Institute of Malaysia says the government will also likely maintain the 2% income tax cut for the M40 group proposed in the previous budget.
In the previous announcement, there was this proposal that for a certain band rate, for the M40 group, there would be a reduction of the tax rate by about 2%. So I think something along those lines, a tweak of that perhaps will be applicable. And for companies as well, there was this announcement of a reduction of the SME tax rate for the first 100,000 by about 2%. So if there's going to be anything, it's probably something along those lines, because at the end of the day, the idea is to help with the rising cost of living for taxpayers in the country. With the announcement also that there will be no GST for the time being, I believe. The key word would be time being. It's obviously, again, to try and manage the rising cost of living.
With a need to widen revenue sources, Harvindar discusses other measures Putrajaya can take to beef up its finances.
So I don't think there's going to be a major introduction of any kind of new taxes. The government would obviously need to look at how to increase tax collection. And I think some of these measures have been implemented. The TIN that was announced in the previous budget announcement, the tax identification number, to ensure that most taxpayers would be having a tax identification number, so that transactions that are entered into by the taxpayers, the idea is to basically increase the database of taxpayers. E-invoicing was also something that has been talked about, and the tax authorities have been putting in measures and processes and steps that the need to focus on tax audits, investigations, to ensure that taxpayers are all taxpayers are fairly doing their part in the payment of taxes. Those are probably the measures that will be looked at currently. And from there, the funds, that we have, if they're allocated appropriately, correctly, and utilized in the correct manner, is essentially talking about the efforts to pump prime the economy. I believe it will bring about good economic recovery, sustenance initially, and recovery and growth eventually.